our winner of the Putt Powell Sportswriter of the Year Award. Putt Powell, of course, legendary longtime writer in Amarillo. And this year's winner, maybe it's a little bit fitting because he spent time at Putt Powell's newspaper, the Amarillo Globe-News. But Greg Riddle's done far more than that. He had began his career in Weatherford and then worked in East Texas, in Marshall, also in the Arlington Morning News before going to work for the Dallas Morning News in 2000. If you read on a Saturday morning, or for that matter, during the course of a week, you see the outstanding coverage presented by the armada of very talented high school football writers who cover the sport for the Dallas Morning News. And Greg Riddle is the man who marshals all of those troops together, as well as his own talent and skills as a writer. We'd like to recognize this year's Putt Powell Sports Writer of the Year, Greg Riddle of the Dallas Morning News.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank my wife, Laura, and our 3 kids for putting up with all the crazy hours that we have to work, especially for Friday night high school football. And I'd like to thank all you coaches who make our job possible. Despite your very busy and hectic schedules, you take time to do interviews, you welcome us to your practices, you pitch story ideas to us, you provide all the little necessities that we need, such as rosters, schedules, and stats. It's an honor to receive an award that was named after Putt Powell. Like Craig said, I worked at the Amarillo Globe-News. It was one of my first jobs out of college. I was not there at the same time as Putt, but I heard a lot of stories about him and what a great sports writer he was. That helped inspire me, and I'm sure many others. My former boss in Amarillo, John Mark Ballou, wrote a great story about Putt several years after he passed away. He had a quote from former NFL head coach Bum Phillips. Bum said, "I've always said that Earl Campbell was in a class by himself. Well, you can include Putt Powell as well. He was in a class by himself." And I think anyone who knew Putt would agree with that. Putt Powell worked at the Amarillo Globe-News for 62 years. He became friends with some of the biggest names in sports. Barry Switzer would open his Texas OU post-game press conferences by always asking if Putt Powell was there yet. Putt Powell was invited to parties thrown by the legendary OU coach Bud Wilkinson. But I think what helped make Putt so special was what he did to help recognize high school athletes and to tell their stories. He gave them memories they could cherish well beyond high school for the rest of their life. He helped start the Panhandle Texas Sports Hall of Fame, the Globe News Most Valuable Player Awards, the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, and the Texas Sports Writers Association. As a sports writer, one of the things that I enjoy most about my job is the ability to give these athletes a chance to tell their stories and also a chance to carry something with them beyond high school when they get on to college and with the rest of their life. And I think I learned some of that from what Putt was able to do. One of the things I think I admire most about the great coaches that I've had a chance to work with here in Texas is what the difference that you make in the lives of everyone that you coach, and it's not just on the field. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I ran track in high school, and it's been 27 years since I graduated from high school, but every time I go back to Tulsa, I always go visit my high school coach. And it's not just because he helped me reach my potential and go on and run in college, but he was a friend, and he was a father figure to me. And I think a lot of the athletes that you coach would say the same thing about all of you. I know when I interview coaches, they always talk about how their athletes will come back and see them, or they'll call, or they'll come talk to the athletes who came after them at their high school. And I just think that shows you how much of an impact that you make on these young people's lives. And if as a sports writer I can do anything close to that, then I think both you and I are doing our jobs to the best that we can. Thank you very much.